How you going? Lockie wanted to see how this charge controller works. I'll give you a quick tour of the solar setup. So we got this truck here, mounted panels. We got that panel's buggered, not pulling up out enough volts. So we got these three decent panels, wide and series. So we're getting 111 volts out. Got a lithium battery in here, Voltx. It's a Voltx charge controller. That's what Lockie wants to know about. I've got an inverter here. Yep. So that's all wired in. That's the temporary power we had going, the Jenny. It's going into the bore. So obviously 240 volt pump. Solar pump's too big, weren't working. So put a 2-inch pump down there. Yeah, those batteries died after a while. It's the old solar setup. But anyway, the new one's pretty sweet. The inverter seems to be working. Okay, so this is the charge controller. What can we see? We've got 820 watts coming in. That's at 100 and whatever volts. 9 amps. Pump is using 700 watts. 27 amps. And you see the pictures up here say the panel is going to the battery and it's going to the load. Now you're not supposed to wire these into the load off the charge controller, but we are only pulling 700 watts. So that we're good for 900 or nearly 1,000. And so we've done that so we don't discharge the lithium battery too much, because this inverter doesn't have a low voltage disconnect. So yeah, I can use the low voltage disconnect that's programmed in here. So it'll turn the load off before it depletes that lithium battery too much. And it won't kill the battery, but you have to wake it up again, which is a pain because you've got to, jump a lead from the truck with 24 volt to wake it up again or whatever. So anyway, to use this, what do you do? So you can go up and down arrow and cycle through the menu. So they're the two main ones. That's the first one, and then the secondary one, it actually tells you the volts coming in. It's only 92 now. And is it volts coming out? Yeah, so the first page tells you amps. Second page tells you the volts. And you see I've set it to user lithium battery. That's what you got to set if you're using an LFP battery. So all the voltage levels and stuff are right. And you got to set it on user mode, so you can change the low voltage disconnect or edit some of the preset parameters. So E0, if you hit the button again, you got E0. That means it's good. E4 is short circuit. E5 I think is over ampage, too many amperage or whatever, too many amps you're pulling. And now this is how you can, if you keep going through the menu, that's the load mode I've got it on. Yeah, but to set parameters and things, you can hold this, I think the right arrow, and you cycle through these N numbers, and this is all in the book, but you go to the N number and you can go through. So the screen actually tells you this is like, I don't know what BST stands for, but it might be like maximum volts that's going into the battery. And then, oh yeah, so the battery's full, that'll be like full battery full, battery probably nominal. Low voltage reconnect, so that's when the load will reconnect if you have to, once the battery's charged again. Oops, keep going. Low voltage disconnect. So it says 12.2 and 12.9, but in the book it says, this is a 24 volt battery, so you just times it by 2 for your real number. So the low voltage disconnect is actually 24.4. Which is pretty high for the lithium battery, but I just don't want it to go dead. So that timed out, so you got to hold the button again. Get to your menu. Press down arrow. Don't know what that is. Oh yeah, this is the battery voltage. I had to change that to 24 volt. Maximum amps or something, I think. Something to do with when the battery's dead. ACT, something to do with the light mode. Yeah, I can't remember. These things are like something to do with like turning the load on and off, delays and things. Now this is the short circuit setting. So this has turned off the short circuit protection, and you have to do that when you're pulling like a large inductive load. So the book says as long as your wires are right, you can turn this off. Otherwise it'll switch your charge controller off like instantly, and it just won't work. And this is the delay for start. So when you're trying to turn a load on, you set it 1 to 6 seconds. Yeah, other settings too. You know, that's pretty much all my knowledge. So the only other thing is if you do get an error, so you can, oh no, I don't want to change anything. Yeah, this button to get out. Now if you do get an error like E4 and the load is off, I'm pretty sure the load starts flashing here. These are solid for me, but yeah. And I'm pretty sure you can press this button here and it'll try to turn the load on again. You might need to hold it. If I hold this, it might turn the load off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that one. But I just plugged this all in and it's working, so I don't want to mess with it. All right. Hopefully the sheep can get a drink now.